Peace and blessings, family. Today, again, is January the 3rd, 2021, just 2 days after the birth anniversary of Dr. John Henrik Clarke, the great historian, Dr. John Henrik Clarke, that many of us know and love. I am talking today and reflecting on the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan telling his followers and all of those in the crowd at a Savior's Day event of over 60,000 people in attendance and many more watching live. He instructed many people to read the writings of Dr. John Henrik Clarke. He also instructed brothers and sisters to read the writings of others as well. I think it was 10 books, but he specifically said the writings of Dr. John Henrik Clarke. As I indicated in my last video, I was very surprised to find out that Dr. Clarke talked very badly about Minister Farrakhan, which made me curious as to why Minister Farrakhan would tell everybody to go read his writings. Well, after digging in to some of his writings, Dr. Clarke, I just want to share some of the value that I found in his writings. I have been working in the education field, as many of my ancestors and elders. My mother's a 35 plus year retired teacher. My father is an instructor of mediation. My brother is a professor at the University of Texas. Both of my grandmothers are retired teachers. My great-grandfather, Bishop John Jameson Moore, opened the first so-called Negro school on the Pacific Coast, 1852. First Zion Sabbath School. He opened the first school, the second Black church on the Pacific Coast, and also had a library there. So education has been in my blood, knowingly or unknowingly. And again, we are digging into this knowledge as to why Minister Farrakhan advised us to read Dr. John Henrik Clarke. Now, if you know anything about the American education system, you know when it comes to the original people, the Black people or African Americans or Moors or Native Americans or Latinos and Hispanics, this is very lopsided, incorrect, and in many ways kind of wicked. And so Dr. John Henrik Clarke has offered a whole other perspective and has really dug into history and put in his writings the significance and the beauty of our history. And so he digs in and teaches us about the legacy of Ghana and Mansa Musa, considered maybe the richest man of all time, who dwarfs, the monetary value of the ones that we see as significant today, such as many others. We won't call any names. But he goes back in his history and talks about the Roman Empire and gives us a new perspective on Hannibal as a person that looks like you and me. Gives us a perspective on Ghana and Mali and Songhai. A lot of times the American education system divides us from Africa. It makes us to see and view that location that we call Africa today as a backwards nation or backwards continent. Dr. Clarke gives us a much better understanding of how the pale-skinned Europeans had to go there to get knowledge, to get understanding, to acquire skills, to acquire maps, to acquire engineering, to acquire that which would allow them to build civilization. Are you with me? Dr. John Henrik Clarke gives us these great ones that we should know about, such as Kwame Nkrumah, the first prime minister of Ghana, who graduated from a HBCU here, Lincoln University. When I say here, I mean America. In Pennsylvania, I believe, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah studied, and he was here in New York, here during the time of Marcus Garvey, here during the time of the Black Power movement that was occurring during that time period and lifting us up out of a period of ignorance, a period and where we were considered less than, and that we were fighting to reestablish our great history, heritage, and culture. Dr. John Henrik Clarke opens all these things up for us and points to us many of the people, the individuals, the events, the circumstances that we should know about that they'll never teach us about in our history in the American education system. Here we are, family, 2021, having come through the first year of the coronavirus pandemic, and now education is changing rapidly. Education is changing in such a way that they want to go to online education system. They want to go to a computer-based education system, and they are really removing the teachers, the educators from the education system. So we know, like, again, as I said, that the education system has always disregarded the proper history, heritage, and culture of the original people that look beautifully dark like I do. They've always disrespected and given you a tainted view or tainted perspective of the original people. But Dr. John Henrik Clarke gave us another way to look at our greatness, gave us many examples and many references, many events, many persons that we could look to say, wow, we are Black and beautiful. Wow, we are from a rich culture. Wow, my people are a great people. So we thank Dr. John Henrik Clarke, and we look at these great writings that he's left us, such as the African people in world history. He's left us, and I believe, family, that this document, if you haven't read this document or access this document, you can find it for free online. Go to my Facebook page and look at the post. I shared the link in the comments of the post I made, I think 2 or 3 posts about Dr. Clarke. The Portland baseline essays. Now, the Portland baseline essays was initiated by a great consultant, Dr. Asa Hilliard, one of our foremost African scholars who was here in America, who was teaching at the University of Georgia, who testified in school about schools, testified of how racist and inaccurate the testing was and is inside the American education system, who testified in court of how the standardized testing were inaccurate and unapplicable and shouldn't be used in the American education system. He initiated, as a consultant, the Portland baseline essays, which I believe and I feel as though is a significant professional development for all teachers. If you are an educator, K through 12 or at the college level, you should access the Portland baseline essays. Dr. Asa Hilliard, again, was the consultant that led that initiative for the benefit of the public school system in Portland, Oregon. Included in the baseline essays, you will find what they call the contributions to the different segments of population. So the contributions of mathematics, the contributions of sciences, the contributions of music, the contributions of art, the contributions of social sciences. Then he covers all the subjects, and then he covers all of the various subgroups, the contributions of African Americans in social sciences, the contributions of Africans or African Americans in mathematics, the contributions of African Americans in this field and that field and the other field, the contributions of Hispanics or Latinos in this field, that field, and the other field, the contributions of Native Americans, the contributions of Asian Americans in mathematics, sciences, social sciences, music, etc. Very valuable. Very valuable. I highly recommend, and you can access these for free. This is one of them. Look at this bad boy. This is by Dr. John Henrik Clarke. I think it's 85 pages. There's over 50 references and index. A beautiful document that he includes from a original person's perspective, not from the perspective of the oppressor, but the original person's perspective of African history, a factor in world history, the antecedents of African Americans in the ancient world. See, we're an ancient people. We're not a new people. Our history did not start with slavery. Our history goes back further than we have written history for. African in the ancient world, the Southern African civilization and the origins of Egypt, the history of Egypt, pre-dynastic period, the dynastic period, the Ptolemaic period. It says 332 to 47 BC. It says Islamic Egypt, 642 to 1798 AD. He talks about Islam in West Africa. He talks about West Africa's golden ages, Ghana, Mali, Songhai. He talks about the African presence in the Western Hemisphere, resistance to slavery, the struggle against racism, the education of African Americans. This is a dynamic document that I believe you should have. And if you follow the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, his number one student, who's in our presence today, has advised us, has counseled us, has, matter of fact, instructed us to read the writings of Dr. John Henrik Clarke. Now, I'm gonna make one more video, Lord willing, and I want to talk about the new education paradigm for the 21st century. The new education paradigm for the 21st century. Now, in the Quran, some of us like it and some of us have not read it yet. It says, the devil plans and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. The devil plans and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. Now, again, as I said, we're here in 2021. We've experienced almost a full year of our students having received an online education. The education system is changing dramatically. You like that right there? Dramatically. It's changing, man. Rapidly, quickly, and parents, educators, everyone is at a loss as to how to maneuver this thing. So we have to talk about the 21st century education, but we have to lead from the front. Right now, we are following what others outside of our community have put in place. Are you with me? We are following in education what others have put in place. Are you with me? So this next video, we're going to talk about the new education paradigm for the 21st century. See, the devil, the wicked beast, yes, the wicked beast, not some devil in the ground, somebody with a red suit on with a tail. No, a person that is contrary to the will of God, a person that is contrary to the laws of God, a person that is contrary or opposite to doing what God says is good, is just, and is righteous. That is the devil. A devil. You can say a black devil, a brown devil, a red devil, a yellow devil, green devil, white devil. But the mindset, are you with me? The mindset of wickedness is at work today in education. But a man named Farrakhan has said you should study the writings of Dr. John Henrik Clarke. And from my study, it is through Dr. Clarke that we can work our way in developing a new education system. That's what the next video is going to be about. But that brother, that same brother, Minister Farrakhan, he came to you many years back. What year is this? What's this? 2009. That's a while ago, over a decade ago. 2009, he came the education challenge, a new educational paradigm for the 21st century. So I want to talk just a little bit about this, but I really want to talk about the writings of Dr. John Henrik Clarke, that the teacher, who I call the master teacher, not a master teacher, the master teacher, from my perspective, has guided us on where all of this should go. So wishing you peace and blessings. Check out part 3, and we'll be talking soon and very soon.